Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Epic Cheating Tales. Grab your coffee, crack open a cold one, or pour yourself a top-shelf bourbon. Because today's story is a roller coaster about how a teenage crush, a flashy career, and one seriously entitled bride turned into the kind of breakup you only see in movies. And even then, you'd swear the writers went overboard. Matthew Carter and Allison Pierce met way back in high school. Matt was the quiet, straighter kid who crushed on Allison, the drop-dead, gorgeous queen bee, so hard it hurt. He finally worked up the nerve to ask her out junior year, and she nuked him in 3 seconds flat. She'd already locked arms with Paul Wilson, a swaggering senior who came to class in a leather jacket, revved his dad's Camaro in the parking lot, and acted like the cafeteria was his personal stage. Matt spent the rest of high school hearing whispers about his hopeless love, while Paul and Allison strutted down the halls like Primrody. Life moved on. Matt slogged through college, clocked double shifts, and stacked every penny. The grind paid off big time. Fresh out of school, he landed a job at a multinational tech firm, climbed the ladder faster than anyone in his cohort, and by 27 owned a skyline condo, a shiny coupe, and passports heavy with stamps. Helping his folks with bills and whisking them away on vacation was his favorite flex. One full Matt got an invite to his 10-year reunion. He almost hit delete. Networking with people who once voted him most likely to blend into the wall wasn't high on his bucket list, but curiosity won. He walked into that rented ballroom in a tailored navy suit. Nothing loud, just tasteful. Allison practically did a cartoon double take. Same blue eyes, but now framed by a sharp haircut and confidence money can't buy. She leaned in, this syrupy sweet, bombarding him with questions, job, travel, hobbies, while her fingertips traced circles on her wine glass stem. They swapped numbers before dessert. The next morning she called him, no coy delay, invited him to brunch. Different decade, different rules. Matt's old feelings came roaring back, and Allison had zero interest in slow burn romance. 6 months later, they were walking down the aisle at a lakeside resort. White gazebo, string quartet, the whole Pinterest board. Finally real vibe. Matt's parents worried it was warp speed love, but he waved them off. He'd finally gotten everything teenage Matt ever wanted. Married life started like a highlight reel. Matt scheduled trips to Italy, Japan, and Costa Rica, showing Allison the world the way Travel Channel hosts only pretend to. She devoured every new street market and sunset like a kid unwrapping birthday gifts. Back home, though, something shifted. Allison began calling in sick, then hinted her boss was a jerk, then flat out said work was sucking her soul dry. Matt, still floating in honeymoon clouds, told her to quit. I make enough for both of us, he said, chest puffed with provider pride. Allison put in her 2 weeks faster than you can say direct deposit, and suddenly her days were a whirlwind of brunches, manicures, and boutique yoga. A few years drifted by in that rhythm until Matt's company sent him on a 3-week stint to London and Singapore. They faced him nightly, but sometimes she wouldn't pick up. She blamed exhaustion. He believed her at first. When he rolled his suitcase back through their door, Allison greeted him with a polite kiss and a, hey, welcome home, like he was an Amazon delivery, not the man she'd been texting heart emojis to hours earlier. Matt chalked it up to jet lag and let it slide, though a knot formed in his gut. Over the next month, Allison practically lived outside the condo. Pilates with the girls, spa days, late-night movie marathons that ended past midnight. Matt asked what was up. Allison claimed her bestie Claire had also quit her job, and they were embracing the self-care. Matt smiled, but that knot twisted tighter. Then came Tuesday, the day it all blew up. Matt had a lunch meeting at her Aura Steakhouse, a mahogany and marble joint downtown. Everything about the morning went south. Forgot a contract at home, printer jammed, spilled coffee on his tie, and now traffic was so thick you could read a novel before the light turned green. While cursing at Google Maps, he glanced out the windshield and saw Allison gliding down the sidewalk with a man. They were laughing, laughing. The stranger's hand rested on the small of her back like it had been there 1,000 times. Matt's throat went sand dry. He inched forward with the crawl of traffic, watching them head into the same restaurant he was already late for. When he finally pulled up, he slipped inside like a ghost, praying no one noticed his deer-in-headlights expression. Luck favored him. His company's table was in a secluded alcove, and 20 feet away Allison slid into a booth with her mystery date, while his colleague launched into a sales pitch. Matt did double takes until his brain clicked. The guy was Paul Wilson. Yes, that Paul Wilson, the Camaro King. He looked older, sure, but the smirk was the same. Allison touched his arm, laughed at a joke, and let Paul's hand drift to her thigh. Matt's ears rang. He wanted to storm across the room and flip the table, but his company's CEO sat 3 feet away. He swallowed battery acid rage, nilled the presentation, and even forced a handshake and smell photo for the client newsletter. Allison and Paul bailed before dessert, probably couldn't wait to turn that booth chemistry into hotel sheet physics. Matt drove home shaking, adrenaline spiking. In the condo, he swept every hint of Allison. Designer dresses, shoes, handbags into hefty garbage bags. He hauled them to the alley, dumped them beside the trash bins, and locked the front door from the inside. An hour later, keys rattled outside. Allison's muffled "babe" drifted through the door. Matt cracked it an inch. "You don't live here anymore," he said, voice flat as glass. "If you sprint, you might beat the homeless guys to your wardrobe." At first she laughed. Nervous joke, right? But when Matt shut the door in her face, the punchline landed. She pounded, screamed, threatened lawsuits, then dissolved into sobs. Matt turned on noise-canceling headphones and booked a lawyer. The divorce was a speed run, thanks to a bulletproof prenup. His mom's one non-negotiable. The condo, car, and investments stayed Matt's. Allison left with the clothes she wrestled back from the dumpster and a final paycheck for dignity's sake. She never apologized. In her head, she just chased the life she deserved. She bounced between Paul and a parade of upgrades for years. Anyone who could keep her in luxury till the next big spender rolled along. Matt learned 2 things. First, crushes are great in movies, but lousy blueprints for marriage. Second, a prenup is a superhero cape disguised as paperwork. He threw himself into work, bought a cabin, and took solo trips where nobody could yank his heartstrings. Friends tried setting him up. He waved them off, content to fish at dawn and pour bourbon at dusk. And Paul, he enjoyed Allison's attention until a market dip hammered his commissions. The second the bank statements looked anemic, Allison ghosted, again leaving him with half-paid dinner tabs and a front row seat to his own bad decisions. Rumor has it she's hunting in richer ponds these days. Like a shark, she never stops moving. So what do you think? Did Matt handle it like a champ or go nuclear too fast? Would you have confronted them in the restaurant or waited till the ink on the divorce cooled? Drop your hot takes down below. I read every comment, even the savage ones. And hey, while you're here, smash that subscribe button so hard it files a restraining order. Smack the like, toss a dislike if you're feeling spicy. Engagement is engagement, baby. And share this saga with anyone unlucky enough to wonder whether first loves make solid spouses. I'm Ethan, your storytelling bartender. Refill your glass and stick around. The next betrayal bombshell drops sooner than you think. Until then, stay sharp, keep your heart guarded, and remember, paperwork beats puppy love every time.